It's more related to you than it is to an actual squirrel.
Hell no. That shit is not related to me. You got me twisted. Hell no, fam. What's up, guys? It's your girl VIP Panda. So today we're gonna get into some casual geographic. This one is gonna be the, if you never saw it before, you wouldn't believe it was real. Now I know this guy has a great way of explaining how things are in the animal kingdom, but if it's not real, am I gonna believe it? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's unbelievable here. And if you have any video suggestions, you already know, leave in the comment section down below, or you can follow me on my social media. I'm mainly active on Instagram. I'm a cosplayer and I also do music, so check me out. Thanks. Alright guys, and without further ado, let's go. What is that? Bro, what is that, yo?
Nah, cause y'all seem to think I know everything like I'm a walking encyclopedia, but if I'm being honest here, I know what the that was supposed to be.
But you
like,
do
I
know
for this. And apparently that's not a deformity. That's actually what they're supposed to look like. It's a Damascus goat. It originated in Middle East countries and is primarily used for meat and milk. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say God makes mistakes, but that skull makes me think his draft and post buttons are way too close to each other. Also, a Damascus named God won a prize for most beautiful goat in a contest in 2000. Proving that some of y'all will lie unprovoked for no reason. Y'all can call him beautiful, but tell me this goat thing crawls straight out the
Bruh, give me chills a little bit.
Normal as babies. But then I guess puberty hits them like Hiroshima.
Holy shit.
It's honestly the pug of goats, and I truly mean that. And I read some comments on the internet saying, oh, he just wants love. I rebuke that. He wants my life. We played God with goats, and now we got Barnyard and Dark Souls, and I do not like
I'm not
and
feeling
I
it either,
Satan
bro.
took the form of a goat. Actually, this makes a lot of sense now. You know y'all don't gotta tag me in every animal video, because like, what do you expect me to say? Like, his existence looks like pain. And for y'all that are gonna sit there and tell me that he actually looks cute, I pay.
Look at this thing's eye, though, like... Bro, I don't know why, like, that, it really creeps me out, like...
Way too much for context for y'all to lie about what's in front of my face. Crazy thing is, this is the second most disturbing goat video I've ever seen.
Oof. Oh! Hello! He's cute, though.
Absolutely.
A known creature gives a New Yorker a heart attack.
What the fuck is that thing? It's a fucking mouse! It's got the fucking virus!
I both can and cannot fully explain what that is. It's called a colugo, but it's also known as a flying lemur. Even
you know what's crazy? It makes me feel weird that he has no clue, because I feel like I know that he knows everything about animals, and now he doesn't know. I'm just like, oh, should I be worried? Like,
lies in that one name. They don't fly, they glide. Since they spend most of their lives in their trees, they basically just airdrop themselves from branch to branch. And it's not a lemur. Lemurs are primates, making them related to gorillas, chimps,
Really? I didn't know that.
But this thing isn't a primate. Whoever named it would probably name an atheist face. They use that stretchy membrane called a patagium to glide like flying squirrels, and they can travel 650 feet without stopping. That's 200 meters or a little bit less than 2 football fields. But it's not a flying squirrel. There was a time people thought they were just God's rough draft of a bat, but colugos aren't related to bats either.
What the?
And if you look at the order they're in, Dermotera, they're the only living members. It's like pulling up to a family reunion and finding out you're the only one left. And because their entire personality involves flying, they're too slow and awkward to survive on the ground. And for an animal that lives in the trees, they're pretty mid-climbers. They're so bad at life that being nocturnal is probably the only thing keeping them alive. Mother colugos will carry their babies everywhere for the first 6 months, which made some people believe it was a marsupial, like some type of deformed air koala. But it's none of those things. So what the is it? Well, scientists performed genetic analyses on them. Basically a 23andMe for a flying carpet. And it turns out their closest evolutionary relative are primates.
No way,
it's pretty much the closest you can get to primates without actually being one. Which means this dehydrated Dollar Tree chipmunk is more related to you than it is to an actual squirrel.
Hell no! That shit is not related to me. You got me twisted. Hell no, fam. Next.
Here's why you should never touch this.
What is that?
That is Glaucus atlanticus. It's a type of nudibranch, but it's also known as a sea slug. It's also a gastropod mollusk. I'm not finna bore you with a whole biology lesson, but gastropod means it's related to snails, and mollusk means it pulls up to the same cookout as octopus, squid, and cuttlefish. Also, touching one like this is a creative way of saying you want to pay more for health insurance.
For real?
Because these slugs will eat venomous siphonophores like the Portuguese man of war and steal its venom to use to handle its own life. Stores the venom in its tissue, so if a predator or a person gets too close, they'll get 50 shades of around and find out. Do I cuss too much? Like, I know kids watch me, but then again, they watch Family Guy before 4th grade, so I don't even know anymore. And just like the Portuguese Sorrel Scuffle, the Glaucus can still hand out painful life lessons even after its soul's already ascended.
So,
basically, they don't need to be alive to put you in the hospital.
oh my god.
So if you see one on the beach, it's definitely a look, but don't touch.
Bro.
Because if anything's that small and that colorful, there's probably a good reason they don't need to hide. Exhibit
yeah.
A. This blue
Oh.
black check can be found off the coast of South Africa, in European waters, off the east coast
Yeah,
of Australia,
I was-
because Australia, and some have even been found
I
in
was
the
gonna ask, I'm like, where are these even at? Because I'm trying to avoid them at all costs.
Gulf of California.
Oh, California!
They're also hermaphrodite.
Bro, I was in Cali for 7 years, bro. Tell me why. I don't know, but I feel like it looks familiar. Bro, if I would have saw this thing on Torrance Beach, bro, I don't know. I feel like I would have stepped on it. Like,
That mate by sword fighting and stabbing each other. Normally in nature, the winner gets the female, but here the loser becomes one. The more you know. Here's a story of how 76 beavers were parachuted into Idaho, and yes, that is a thing that happened.
nah.
So in the 1940s,
They're
the
so
people
cute!
of Idaho had beef with the buck-toothed beaver population, mainly because their habit of taking down trees was causing floods in people's yards and damage to gardens.
Ooh.
Because beavers actually contribute to society, unlike some of the people complaining about them,
Right.
the government decided that instead of squad wiping them, it would just be better to move them to another area code. The only problem was the moving process for beavers involved putting them in boxes and Ubering them via horses and mules. This was the 40s. There was no beaver U-Haul.
Oh.
These boxes would overheat, and the beavers would become so stressed that they would refuse to eat, and the horses and mules carrying them eventually got pressed too. It was a bad time for everyone involved. So they realized they had to get creative.
Okay.
And apparently creative meant tying the boxes to parachutes from World War II and literally airdropping them into the Idaho wilderness.
What the?
But of course, you can't just eat a beaver out of a plane without being sure you weren't just committing beaver slaughter with extra steps.
Yeet.
So they experimented the best and
What
safest ways
the-
to drop beavers from a plane, and the test subject they used was an old been around the block beaver named Geronimo.
Hey, yo. Okay, so they're saying that they tested this out for their safety, bruh. You know a bunch of them beavers was dying while they was testing this out.
You really can't make this up. After using Old Man Geronimo to figure out the perfect height and area to drop the beavers, it was time. August 14th, 1948 was D-Day, as 76 beavers were loaded into crates and
What
flown in a
the-
twin engine where they skydived to their new home. And these furry
Oh,
paratroopers
okay.
had a 99% success rate.
Okay.
But only because one of the beavers managed to escape and jump out of the box when he was 76 feet from the ground and took himself off the census when he met the ground.
Oh!
Other than that, the rest of the Air Force beavers managed to land safely on the ground and were able to crawl out the box and explore the new neighborhood and begin a new beaver life.
Huh.
And to most people, this was a success. PETA wasn't happy about it, but you know, PETA gon' PETA.
PETA gon'
Also,
be
it turns
PETA,
out
right.
each parachuting beaver cost taxpayers about $7 a beaver, so I'd say it worked out pretty well. Today we have better ways to control the beaver population, but something about 76
Bruh.
beavers being airmailed and parachuted like some DLC just brings me joy. One of my favorite-
Imagine if they try to do that today, right? You know how much we would pay? That's like $20 a beaver. With this economy, I'm not gonna be surprised.
all-time animal facts was that the CIA once tried to weaponize otters for some reason, because the 60s were a weirder, druggier time,
Aw,
I guess.
but they're so
they were
cute.
low-key onto something. Because otters are smart enough to use tools, tough enough to survive the freezing ocean without blubber. They'll square up and run fades with jaguars and caiman. I've seen them do it. And even though they look like plush toys, they have the power to seriously f you up if
I
you
love
give them a
them.
reason.
They're so cute.
But like honey
Oh!
badgers are better sometime. So someone in the CIA created a report called the Otter Dossier, and I'm gonna read you my favorite
Never
parts.
mind.
According to the Otter Dossier, they can be trained to climb ladders and stairs, can carry objects underwater, open zippers, throw objects with their mouth, and turn on faucets.
What
They somehow figured out that a motivated water weasel can chew through a zinc sheet, and I honestly couldn't tell you how they found that one.
Wait a minute.
There's a lot of other stuff in there too, like how to properly
Wasn't
take
there a cartoon about the otters, right? What was it called? It was like peanut butter and jelly or something like. You know what I mean? I forgot. But if you guys know, let me know in the comment section down below.
care of
They
otter
look
pups because
pretty
apparently they
innocent
get
to me.
diarrhea. A lot. But by far my favorite part is where they say otters are easy to train, but they can become too devoted to humans, which can lead to their destruction. Yeah, honestly, same.
What?
The report also mentions that they're almost impossible to transport because an otter that feels confined can and will attempt to destroy anything trying to escape. The report also specifically says never to take food from an otter because, and I might be paraphrasing here, take their food and they take your fingers.
God!
And in fact, the exact quote was, never take food from an otter, particularly that which he has just caught or suffer severe mauling. Yeah, someone got really
Yeah,
up
they
when they put
did.
that there. Honestly, if you have the chance, please read the whole report. I'm gonna put it in the comments. I mean, there's a chance the report's fake and none of this ever happened, but it's so
Bro.
detailed. Like, too much effort went into it for it to be a
How
lie.
are you,
Moral
like-
of this video, otters are smart, nasty, and they give less than a prom night virgin.
How are you that cute and cause so much destruction?
Basically weapons of otter destruction.
Right,
Turkey's performing
destruction.
demon ritual on past tense
What
cat.
the?
So there's actually a really interesting and
Not
complex
today.
reason why turkeys do this. Turkeys are so f***ing stupid that it's actually medically fascinating. Like, they're not dumb enough to stare at the sky during a storm and reverse baptize themselves. That's actually a well-known myth. But they are brain cell deficient enough to not tell the difference between a threat to their way of life and an expired cat. It's likely the turkeys are curious about the past tense cat, but too paranoid to get too close to the corpse because again, turkeys have no idea it's dead and no way of knowing if it's dangerous.
So...
what you're seeing is a prey response that only an animal locked in the basement of the food chain can come up with. As for the circling, birds like turkeys, chickens, and pheasants will instinctively follow the tail of the bird in front of them. It's a behavior that helps keep them together as a flock since holding hands isn't really an option. So pretty much these turkeys are stuck in a never-ending cycle of follow the leader, but none of them actually identify as one, so they just keep going. And fun fact, this bird was almost the mascot of America, since a guy named Ben Franklin thought bald eagles were cowardly scavengers that didn't deserve the clout.
So how did they know when to stop circling around the dead animal? Like, what is it? Like, just one of them just go and just start pecking it? Like, I'm so confused.
But if you YouTube what a bald eagle really sounds like, he might have been on timing. So yeah, turkeys are, I'm not gonna say they're stupid, but I'm not gonna say they're aware of the world either. Someone asked me what I think the most underrated animal in the world is, and I instantly thought of this picture. Goats really do be goating. The bottom of their hooves have soft pads that contour to the surface they're climbing, which allows them to be a middle finger to the laws of physics. This isn't photoshopped. These are the tree climbing goats.
This is why they call goats the greatest of all time, bro. Look at this. What other animal you know be doing this and look like a goat? Like, come on.
They figured out that the fruits of the argan tree are an easy source of food, and when nature says climb, goats say how high.
Well, damn.
This is an alpine ibex. They'll scale up the Singino Dam in Italy just to lick the salt off the stones and let the rest of the world wonder
tripping.
how.
You are
y'all that
tripping.
think goats are just some hippie-free climbing sheep, they eat their Wheaties. Some male mountain goats can tip the scales at over 300 pounds. Mountain goat once caught a fade with a grizzly, and it was the bear that got turned into a
Mountain
trophy.
goat kills grizzly bear by stabbing it with razors. God, you know how big a grizzly is, bro? Bruh, I don't know. I'm not gonna underestimate when they call someone a goat. I'll be like, oh yeah, he's like that.
Got smoke for you too if you want.
Not
Hikers have been
good.
warned when going through the Olympic National Trail in Washington because the mountain goats there have started harassing people. The reason is because the mountain goats there have gotten addicted to the salt and human sweat and pee, and they'll press you just to get their fix. Peeing on a trail in their area code is like a Batman signal to a
Oh my
feeding
gosh,
dog.
look at this
One
dude.
actually took a man off the census and wouldn't even let first responders get near his body. Those goats became such a menace that they had to be airdropped somewhere else. The media won't admit it, but out of all the bears, cougars, and wolves, goats are the real G's. But like lasagna, they move in silence. You only have 3 seconds.
That.
If you can't find it, you're already dead.
Wait, 3 seconds? Where? Is it on all the way up here? Right here? What are you talking about? This, right? Oh, we're gonna see right now. Wait, what? I don't see anything. Wait, it has to be that up there, right? Dude, don't play with me, right? You guys see it? It's either this right here. I don't know. What?
Alright, time's up. Here's why you always look up if you're under a tree in Tanzania. That is a
it's
leopard.
right there.
Leopards are the best climbers of any big cat, and they'll stalk their victims from branches only to drop down and put them in God's recently deleted. And they'll wait up in the trees for hours for the right opportunity to strike. And if you try to escape by climbing up the tree, that'd be like stealing Michael Phelps' Walton and
Oh my
diving into a pool. That's their home court.
gosh!
But that's only one reason you should be careful under trees. Because leopards carry their meals up in trees where they don't have to pay food taxes to lions or hyenas. And leopards are so freakishly strong that they can deadlift animals heavier than they are up into the trees using only their mouth. Yes, that is a giraffe. But because leopards keep anything they can't finish up in the trees, you can really become a hashtag if a leopard's lunch gets airdropped to the back of your head. Which means at least once in the history of mankind, a child became an orphan because a half-eaten rhino fell from a tree and put his father in a Twitter bio.
No.
And when I say leopards will fly out of a tree to catch a body, I mean they don't have fall damage, or at least they don't think they do.
Bro, it's crazy too, because like cats, when they fall from like high altitudes, they just act like it's nothing. I don't know.
Leopards have a hit list of over 90 different
scary.
species of animal, and they're so good at stat padding that they'll sometimes accidentally friendly fire.
Ooh.
Oh.
He's like, ah.
Yeah, so fun fact. This animal sends more people to the ER than bears, wolves, and cougars combined.
Bison?
The American bison is the
That
heaviest
thing's
thing with a
big as
heartbeat in North America, maxing out at over 2,200 pounds. They can also grow to 10 feet long, run you down at 35. If you try to run from the smoke by hopping over a fence, a motivated bison can clear a 6-foot fence. Now, there's 2 reasons why this guy is seriously testing his life
Oh my
insurance.
god!
One is because they're pretty much legally blind, so like rhinos, they respond to anything that moves with violence. And 2 is because a bison is a great value meal for predators. Wolves and grizzlies have been known to smoke an apple pack, and mountain lions will target unaccompanied baby bison. That generational trauma means a bison is more likely to turn a person into a chalk outline if they get out of line. The difference between a bear and an animal like a moose or bison is a bear looks at you and has to decide if you're even worth it.
Oh my god!
A bison assumes you're going to turn him into calories and will barrel roll you first. But because bison in national parks are used to being around people, they're usually pretty chill unless you get too close. Only problem is getting too close is how pictures like this happen.
Bro's man's pants is gone. Man's pants, bro. Bruh. And it's funny because like it feels like the dude didn't even try to get his pants back. He's like, all right, I'm good. I don't even want to know where that horn went for him to retreat like that, bro.
Someone had to go home with no pants.
That's what I'm saying.
Explain that she lost them because she couldn't social distance from a tank with horns. Yeah.
Oof.
Don't do that. Because Bison isn't just a name. It's what your parents are going to say at your casket if Appa decides to turn up on you.
Horrifying sound of a woman becoming a hashtag.
The biggest mistake you could make is going to save that woman. Because that's not a woman getting turned into a headline. That was a female mountain lion in heat.
Hell
Female cougars will often make these shrieking, blood-curdling screams when they're in estrus. It's like their Batman signal for getting laid. Answering that call when it's not for you is how you meet Batman's parents. Of course, I'm exaggerating. Cougars are way more afraid of you and will probably go the other way if you pull up on them. What won't go away are the bricks in your pants after you
Oh, cougar. That makes a lot of sense.
Try to be a hero and make eye contact with this walking steroid. I know it's not related, but I'm still going to mention it. Tigers have been known to imitate the sounds of their prey to fool them into a false sense of security before they turn them into a hashtag. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, this is a margay, and
why
they
does
do
it
the
look
exact
cute
same
right
thing
there?
with monkeys. Now, I'm not saying the cougars do it on purpose, but I am saying that nature is a like that. Also, I forgot to mention that cougars tend to scream while mating.
Oh.
So if you're ever alone in bed and hear a woman on a Tinder date with Joe from you, don't worry. It's just cougars getting more action than you.
Cougars, okay. What the? What?
You know,
For
penguins
real,
will sell
dude?
themselves, but like in that way.
Shit sounds
Let me
crazy.
explain. This is an Adelie penguin. If you hear a messed up penguin fact, it usually involves them. So basically, Adelies build their nests out of piles of pebbles, which means two things. Pebbles are a penguin's form of currency, and the penguin with the most pebbles is considered the most attractive.
Okay.
So female Adelie penguins will offer their bodies to males in exchange for a rock, and
For
yeah, it's
rocks?
exactly what I'm making it sound like. Sometimes the female will give it up to a male in exchange for a pebble, even though she already has a mate waiting for her back at the nest.
She's like, bro, I want the biggest rock you got. Like, give me that rock in my finger. Like,
Scientists can't really
flex.
confirm this, but it's believed the females do this so that if their mate gets packed up by a seal or something, they still have a backup.
Okay.
Doesn't stop there, because a lot of times the female will pretend to be interested in the single male, and right when the male thinks he's about to get it in, she takes the pebble and runs back to her actual
animals
mate.
are shady,
The best
bro.
example I could think of is if you buy a girl a drink only for her to take it and bring it over to her man on the other side of the bar.
Oh my god.
Basically, these penguins pull a Cardi B, but, you know, without the top.
Oh god, bro.
And before you feel bad for them, just remember that male Adelies have been known to have relations with injured females, chicks, penguin corpses, and one even hooked up with the ground. To completion. Penguins are dressed as Wall Street brokers, and they have the moral compass of one too.
Yeah, you're right. Is that reindeer? That jumps
Friendly
fast.
reminder that reindeer will eat this special magic mushroom that'll get them so high that they'll wander around aimlessly and make a bunch
What?
of weird
They on
drunken
the
noises.
shrooms?
And the mushroom's toxic to us, but if you drink the pee of a reindeer that's eating it, you too can get elevated and hella
No
crazy.
way.
Basically, getting R. Kelly'd by a reindeer will have you believing you can fly as well. The more you know.
What the fuck? I learned more about animals from Casual Geographic than I did in any type of schooling that I've had. And, you know, there's one thing I feel like I shouldn't mess with, and so far, I feel like the chimps are a little scary. And not only that, but now, like, you know, with the cat types, like the jaguars and the cougars and cheetahs, they're pretty terrifying, too. I feel like if I were to go to, like, a safari, right, and they're like, oh, you know, there's cheetahs here. I'm like, oh, I'm staying in the car. Like, I ain't going out there. The bison? Oh man, I don't think I want to mess with the bison either. I know they make bison burgers. I don't know how they managed to get a bison, but there's some people who are determined to, like, you know, poach animals. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, don't forget to panda punch that like button. It really helps me out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and let me know what you guys want to watch next. All right, and until next time, bye.